Hello everyone and welcome to my channel The Aidwest. Today in this video we are going to learn one of the most beautiful sonnets, Upon Westminster Bridge, written by William Wordsworth. So first, let's have a look at the topics that we are going to discuss today. Number 1, about the poet. About the poet. Number 1, William Wordsworth was born on April 7th, 1770 at Cockermouth in Cumberland. Next, he travelled many places like Alps, Italy, France and Switzerland. He discovered a profound love for nature and sympathy and respect for common man. Now, he was rightly called the worshipper of nature. Now, he was greatly impressed by the French Revolution in 1789. In collaboration with Samuel Taylor Coleridge, he published lyrical ballads in 1798. Now, this started the Romantic movement in the English literature. Well, now let's have some most important works done by William Wordsworth. So, number 1, descriptive sketches. 2, the preludes. Number 3, the excursion. And finally, the Lucy poems. These are the most important works done by William Wordsworth. Now let's see a few lines about the poem. Number 1, this poem was composed on September 3, 1802. It is a beautiful sonnet, an Italian sonnet. Now let's have the occasion of the poem. It was a fine early morning on September 3rd, 1802. The poet was going to France. In his way, he was crossing the Westminster Bridge over the River Thames. He stopped there and from his coach he viewed the exotic beauty of the city of London in the early morning. He was deeply moved by the sight, and the poem depicts this joy and wonder of the poet. Now, let's have a look what a sonnet is and what are its types. Number 1. The word sonnet is derived from the Italian word sonetto, which means a little song. Next, a sonnet is a 14-line lyrical poem normally written in iambic pentameter and it follows a strict rhyme scheme. Number 3, generally sonnets are of two types. One, the Italian or classical sonnet, and the second, the English sonnet. Now have a look at the features of these types of sonnets. Number 1, Italian sonnet. First point, these are also known as Petrarchan sonnet or classical sonnet. Number 2, they have two stanzas. Stanza 1, the octave. It is a stanza of 8 lines with the rhyme scheme ABBA, ABBA. Now, sestet, a stanza of 6 lines with the rhyme scheme CDC, DCD or CDE, DCE. Now, English sonnet. Point number 1, these are also known as Shakespearean sonnet. They have 4 stanzas. First, 3 quatrains. A quatrain is a 4-line stanza, so these poems have 3 quatrains in the beginning with the rhyme scheme AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, and finally comes a concluding couplet. A couplet is a stanza of 2 lines with the rhyme scheme GG. Now let's have an example of a beautiful Italian sonnet. So the text that we are going to study is a beautiful Italian sonnet, no doubt, upon Westminster Bridge. Have a look there. All the lines appear one by one. So first appears the octave, the 8 lines. So these first 8 lines are called octave. Now you can see these 8 lines are divided into 2 stanzas of 4-line stanzas. 2 4-line stanzas, and these 4-line stanzas are called quatrains. Have a look at the rhyme scheme ABBA, ABBA. Next comes the sestet, that means the 6-line stanza, the ultimate stanza. See here, these 6-line stanzas is called a sestet. Now you can see the sestet has 2 parts. That means the sestet has 2 3-line stanzas, and a 3-line stanza is called a tercet. So the sestet is formed of 2 tercets. Now have a look at the rhyme scheme CDC, DCD. Well, now have an example of an English sonnet or a Shakespearean sonnet. See here, we will take Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day by William Shakespeare. Now have a look at the lines that appear one by one. So have a look. First 4 lines are called quatrain number 1. The next 4 lines are called quatrain number 2. And the third stanza is called a quatrain 3. And finally, the concluding couplet. Now have a look at the rhyme scheme. A B A B, C D C D, E F E F G G. Well, the poem Upon Westminster Bridge is an Italian sonnet, so we will study it in 2 sections, the octave and the sestet. Well, let's start with the octave. First comes the word notes. See here. More fair means more beautiful. Dull means insensitive or having no sense of beauty. Of soul means mentally. Pass by means to ignore. A sight means a sin. So touching means so appealing. In its majesty means in its grandeur. Doth means does. Now, this city now doth like a garment wear. This expression actually means now the city is wearing the beauty of the morning just as someone wears a garment. Now, silent means quiet, bare means open or free from dust and smoke, towers means tall buildings, domes means vaulted roofs, theatres means playhouses, bright means radiant, glittering means shining. Now go through the octave. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would he be of soul, who could pass by a sight so touching in its majesty. This city now doth like a garment wear the beauty of the morning. Silent, bare, ships, towers, domes, theatres and temples lie open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. So this is the octave part. Now have a look at the paraphrase of the octave. So, the sight of the city of London bathed in the splendor of the early morning sun is perhaps the most beautiful sight on earth. This is a majestic sight and nobody can ignore it. It is as if the city is wearing the beauty of the morning, just as a man puts on a garment. In this hour, the whole atmosphere is silent and free from dust and smoke. And so, everything in the city as the ships, towers, domes, theatres and temples are clearly visible up to the horizon. Now, have a look at the sestet. Start with the word notes. Steep. Steep means to soak in sunlight. Splendor means brightness, the golden rays of the rising sun. Valley means lowland, the stretch of land between hills. Never means never. Calm means peaceful silence. The river, here it refers to the Thames. Glideth means glides or flows. At his own sweet will means freely or without any obstruction. Sim means appears to be. Mighty means enormous or huge. Hurt, here the city of London is referred to by this word hurt. This is an example of a personification. Now go through the sestet. Never did sun more beautifully steep in his first splendor, valley, rock or hill. Never saw I, never felt a calm so deep. The river glideth at his own sweet will, dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. Now have a look at the paraphrase of the sestet part. The sun appears every morning and makes the earth bright and beautiful, but the poet had never witnessed such exquisite splendor of the rising sun. It made everything on earth, such as the valleys, rocks and hills, more beautiful. There was a profound calmness all around, and the river Thames was flowing on gently. The houses all around seemed to be sleeping. In fact, the whole city of London seemed to be in sleep. Now for the model questions and answers, find a PDF in the description below. Well, for more, stay tuned with us. Thank you.